Hey everybody, what's going on? Mr. Harvey here. Let's continue our lecture, Chapter 2, the Italian Renaissance. Now, today we're in for the next, I'm going to kind of split this lecture up into two parts. Today we're going to be focusing on politics, okay? In the previous parts of this chapter, and remember, this class is divided up into themes, all right? And it's kind of really helpful to learn all this history thematically. It kind of helps things make sense a little bit more, at least for myself. But earlier in this chapter, ladies and gentlemen, we were focused on the kind of the intellectual history of the Italian Renaissance, right? The humanism, secularism, individualism that we saw, and some of the new ideas, the creativity that we were seeing, and we saw how that kind of manifested itself within the art. Today, we're going to be focusing on politics. We're going to be focusing on the politics of Italy, what's going down in Italy, and then in the next lecture, I'm going to kind of focus on some of the events outside of Italy. We're going to be focusing on the kind of the powerful monarchies that are rising. Okay, so kind of let's focus on the politics. Okay, we're focusing on politics today. All right, and we're going to look at Italy first. All right, now this is what Italy looks like politically, territorially during this time, ladies and gentlemen. It's really important to remember that Italy is divided up into city-states. We don't have a united Italy. We don't have this powerful nation state. Okay. Italy is divided, okay? And this division, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be maintained until the 1800s. Economically, Italy during this time, ladies and gentlemen, is very powerful, and that is because of the Mediterranean economy, right? The trade, a lot of goods, a lot of the economic kind of activity comes through the Mediterranean Sea, and Italy obviously is a big part of that. So Italy's making a lot of money. That's going to change. Okay, so there's going to be some huge changes for Italy, and also we know that the Renaissance is going on during this time because of what's going to go on politically. We're going to see the end of the Italian Renaissance because of all this instability that's going to be going down in Italy. Okay, so let's talk about that. All right, Italy we know has city-states, and you should be familiar with some of the city-states: Milan, Florence, right, Venice, the Papal States, Naples. You should be familiar with some of the main names of the city-states because in case we have to write about a city-state on the AP exam, it would be really helpful, to be able to drop, some important city-states. All right. We know that the city-states kind of had their own way of dealing with things, and that was through diplomacy. And we know this because the city-states simply were not powerful enough to deal with, a France on their own, or to deal with, a Spain. All right, they did not have the power, and so if they had problems amongst each other, which they did, okay, they had a lot of disagreements. They solved these problems internally. Okay, they cooperated. They did their best to make sure that they solved their problems in house. When they don't do that, that's when the trouble starts. Okay, and we're going to talk about Ludovico Milan, and he's going to kind of break that Peace of Lodi. Let's make sure in our notes we have that highlighted, the Peace of Lodi. That was this idea of cooperation. Okay, now during the Italian Renaissance, late 1400s, 1500s, there's a couple things that are really going to disrupt Italy economically, and that's going to eventually facilitate some of that political decline and some of the problems. Okay, one of the biggest things that we're going to see, ladies and gentlemen, is the rise of the age of exploration, the rise of an Atlantic trade economy. Okay, the fall of Constantinople definitely is a huge event that's going to go down in the Middle East. Okay, in modern day Turkey. All right, but what's really going to hurt Italy is the age of exploration. Okay, Portugal, Spain are going to start exploring, colonizing the Americas. The Americas are going to be colonized, and we're going to see the epicenter of trade shift from the Mediterranean to the Atlantic Ocean, because of the colonization of the Americas. And we're going to see with the rise of mercantilism, which we'll get into in the next couple chapters, okay, Italy is going to lose its status as, this kind of this hub of trade, okay, this center of trade. That's going to start to go away. And so that's going to hit the pocketbook of Italy, and it's going to create some serious problems, okay? And that's going to lead to some increased competition. Trade, the Italian merchants and traders are going to have more competition with Portuguese and Spanish traders who are working in this Atlantic trade, and eventually, because of this competition, the Italians are they're not going to be making as much money, okay, and that's going to lead to some serious changes, okay, and a decline for Italy. Okay, it's no longer kind of this preeminent economic center, all right, because of that shift, all right. This is a big problem, though, ladies and gentlemen, okay? We're going to start to see France, Spain, the HRE, aka baby Germany, all right, that's what I call it, all right? We are going to start to see a lot of instability in England, and that is because Ludovico Milan, let's highlight this name, he breaks the Peace of Lodi. He breaks the precedent. He breaks that rule, that golden rule, that agreement to not invite foreign countries into the affairs of the city-states. And so he is going to invite France in to be like, hey, I need your help. You know, we're having some problems. And ladies and gentlemen, don't worry about all the specifics. I want you to, the main kind of idea that I want you to get through these next couple slides is the instability of Italy. Okay? But Ludovico Milan, he's going to break that, you know, that cardinal rule, and we are going to see France get involved. Now, if France get involved, Spain's going to be like, hey, we're getting involved too. And the HRE is going to be like, oh, we're getting involved too. So that, by bringing in France, he's not just going to bring in France, okay? We're going to see many of the major powers in Europe get involved. And that is just going to just tear Italy apart. And, you know, you're going to see the Italians won't have sovereignty and won't have power over their territory. There's always going to be foreign interference. And they're not going to be able to shake this foreign interference until the 1800s when they unite under Count Couvar. Okay? You know, really an prime example that shows this instability is we're going to see in Florence. We're going to see Savonarola. We're going to see this religious dictatorship that's set up that's going to be opposing the Medici family, the French, popes, and eventually Savonarola is going to be executed. The Medicis will return, but that's just going to be kind of just an illustration of so much of the instability that Italy is going to be going through. Eventually, we're going to see this League of Venice formed with Spain, the HRE, Venice, and the Papal States to kind of fight against the French. But the damage is done, ladies and gentlemen. There is now foreign interference in Italy, okay? And Italy is not going to be able to get rid of that foreign interference and not be able to unite until the 1800s. And remember, this is, I kind of alluded to this before, this is what's making Machiavelli so salty. Machiavelli is writing The Prince during this time, 1513, and he has seen his country just tear itself apart and the foreign powers tear his country apart. And it is making him salty and sad. And he's sad, all right? We're going to see France invade again under Louis the 12th when Pope Alexander VI, he's called the corrupt Pope. Let's make sure we highlight Pope Alexander VI. We do need to know him. He's as important as Boniface, okay? And France is going to be thrown out again by an alliance of Venice, Ferdinand, the HRE, Ferdinand of Aragon, Spain, okay? And the Swiss. But what's important here is twofold, okay? Again, the instability of Italy, and look at what the Pope is doing. The Pope invited France in. People, this is going to be really important for us, ladies and gentlemen, setting precedent for the Reformation, because people are looking at the Pope going, dude, why are you so focused on politics? Like, what? Why aren't you focused on, you know, issues of salvation, you know, Christian doctrine? Why are you so involved in, you know, creating more powerful, you know, power for yourself and all this politics, all right? Again, this is going to be a main argument of Martin Luther. This is going to be, you know, and this is going to be one reason why Martin Luther is going to be able to attract so many followers with the Reformation is, again, the church focusing on politics as opposed to religion. Okay, another pope who's going to kind of have the same effect, all right, is Pope Julius II. He succeeds Alexander VI. He's very militant. He's secular. Okay, he's going to suppress the corrupt pope's family, his Alexander VI children. And by the way, should a pope have children? Right, popes are supposed to be celibate. That's, again, something Martin Luther is going to attack, and it's illustrating some of the hypocrisies of the church that Martin Luther is going to argue against within the Reformation. All right, and he's going to reduce Venice's influence. This is Julius II. Venice's influence, territory, and expel France from Italy. But again, the big picture here is we're seeing instability in Italy, and we're seeing the popes focus so much on politics as opposed to religion, and that's going to set precedent a little bit later for the Protestant Reformation. Okay. All right. France is going to invade again. Win. Receive this Concordat of Bologna from the Pope in 1516, 1 year before Martin Luther's October 31st, 1517, 95 Theses. Let's make sure we highlight the Concordat of Bologna, because the Concordat of Bologna is important. It's going to help keep France Catholic after the Reformation. The French Papacy are going to be really cool. They're going to be on good terms, okay? And the French people will be on really good terms with the Papacy. And this is going to be a fact that helps keeps France Catholic, really Catholic, during the Protestant Reformation. And we're also going to kind of touch on that a little bit later during the Wars of Religion, as France is going to maintain its strong stance towards Catholicism. Okay. We're going to see Emperor Charles V. He's going to take over Rome. He's of the HRE Empire, Charles V. Take over Rome in 1527. That's going to end the Renaissance in Italy. It's gonna be done after that, and we're going to see the HRE, France, Spain, for the next couple hundred years, really trade power and trade territory in Italy. Italy is now destabilized, not unified, and really suffering, okay? And we're going to see wars in Italy for quite some time, okay? But the big picture that I want you all to understand is the instability of Italy, okay? What are the results of all this instability? Well, Italy is divided, okay? The Renaissance is over, all right? And we another thing that we've seen within all this, politics, this diplomacy, the external wars, is the involvement of the papacy. That's going to be really important, ladies and gentlemen, because people who are upset about the church and the politics of the church in other areas of Europe, like Germany, are the HRE, are gonna when Martin Luther starts saying, hey, join me and join my movement, there will be a big following of people who are so dissatisfied with the church. Okay, so that's something that's also going to be really important for us to remember from all this political instability. Okay, all right, let me stop here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to create another lecture, and we're going to be talking about some of the other political factors outside of Italy that are occurring during this time, the Renaissance, the 1400s, late 1400s, or early 1500s. Okay, all right, let me stop here.